Hello again. Let's try this again. My phone keeps kicking me off, shutting off for some reason. I don't know. This is the Watering Man spiritual toolbox number 11. It's the fruit of the Spirit number 7. It's audio recording number 327. This is October the 6th of 2021. I'll be covering the coverage of this, the fruit of the Spirit, from Galatians 5, chapter 5, verse 22 and 23. Start off by reading it again, quoting it. I'll just read it. Out of Galatians 5:22 in the King James language version says, "But the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, long-suffering, gentleness, goodness, faith, meekness, and temperance. Against such there is no law." Okay, now we're on goodness. Just a second. Quit that. Now, let's get here in the interlinear so I can. All right. That way I can have this pronounce it and help me out here a little bit. Okay. Now, the word goodness, the ingredient from the fruit of the Spirit, goodness, comes from the Koine Greek word, Strong's number 19. It's spelled Agathosyne. Woo! See how it pronounces that.
Strong's G19. Agathosune.
Aganasune. Something like that. Okay. All right. That's a feminine noun. And, okay, the etymology of that word comes from G18. Okay, we'll get to that in a minute. The online biblical usage of that word is uprightness of heart or your mind. And right in there, that's your thinking processes. Not a brain, not a blood pump, boom, boom, boom. No, those are external organs. You keep that outside there and don't allow God inside of you. You know, you can't keep him from doing that. But if you don't agree into God, be reasonable, sit my way, and be in hot pursuit, acknowledge, make God true and all men, all that anthropos thinking, all that humanistic thinking, that wooden thinking, speaking of your own self. And that word is not even, we'll touch that another time maybe. It's E-T, it's spelled E-T. And a lot of times they don't even translate it in the King James Version in the Old Testament. But you can remember, it's like it's E-T, it's speaking a different language. And it's pronounced eighth. Like A-Y-T-H, eighth, spelled E-T, like an extraterrestrial. It's an alien, foreign to God's right-mindedness. It's directly opposed. It's of that, and what it means is self. Your own self-centeredness. Your own righteousness. And what is your own righteousness? My righteousness is as filthy, stinking rags. Ooh, yuck, get it out, get out. Like it's telling you in Isaiah chapter 30, verse 19 through 22. Ooh, yuck, get out. God chopping that out. Okay, all right. As you agree. All right. All right. Now, this biblical usage of this G19, okay? It has uprightness of heart, of your mind, of those thought processes. God's changing them right back into, from out of, into, to, and into, towards it, into, and then even in it, in God, in a fixed, permanent position, and then in union with. God's doing this. He's pulling you. You know, because you're lifting him up. You're burning up that garbage thinking. You're with him. You're agreeing with him. Burn it up. Burning down the house. Yeah. Right? A little memory aid there, right? Getting rid of that stinking thinking. Yeah, cut it out. Jackhammer that out. I agree with you. Let's bust it up. Hi-ya! Okay? Yahweh is your salvation. Is your deliverance from this thing. Agree with it. Agree with it. Agree with it. Over and over and over and over. Again, again, again. Do not stop. Okay? Be reasonable. Sit my way, my child, right? Now, the online biblical usage is upright in heart or mind, your thought processes in life, that fullness of life, the way you exist. And you're existing as you habitually practice this back into the right-mindedness of God, back into the self-existing one, right? This is goodness and kindness, okay? Let's go on down here. In the Strong's Exhaustive Concordance, let's see, whoops. Yeah, goodness, virtue, okay. Okay, I think that was covered up in the other one, really, too. And uprightness of heart in the Thayer's Greek lexicon, goodness, life. It's a fullness of life in God, and it's living. You're, coming out of this thinking into your living. It's kindness, okay? I'll get into, some of those just a minute. Hang on, I jumped it out. It's all right. Now, okay. Now this, hang on a minute. It jumped me down there for some strange reason. Make sure we get this right. For number 19, goodness, where the translated is goodness, okay? And that's from number 18, G18. And it's Agathos. It's an adjective. It's a primary root word, okay? And it sounds like this.
Strong's G18. Agathos. Agathos.
Okay. Now, alrighty. Now, the online biblical usage of this agathos is a good constitution or nature, useful, salutary, like a meeting, pleasant with someone, goodness to them. You're giving them a chance. You're not closing them up, putting up a wall for no reason. You don't have to pay too much attention to that old carnal junk. Don't feed into that. But know that behind that is that seed of Christ, or the truthfulness of God in there, crying out. Discern that you love that. That's just like you inside. Okay? Now, it's to be good, pleasant, agreeable, joyful, happy, excellent, distinguished, upright, and honorable. Agreeing with God, okay, in your mind, okay? And the, okay, hang on a minute. Okay, yeah, in the Strong's Concordance, it means that good, in any sense, okay? It says compare that to the Strong's number 2570, okay? We'll do that here in a minute, okay? And the Thayer's exhaustive concordance is agathos. To think highly, to wonder at, to think highly admirable. So you're admiring that seed of Christ in them. Not admiring it out of yuck thinking. Not want to take part of that poop thinking in them. And in yourself, first and foremost, all. You don't want to touch it. It's like, oh, damn, it sucks you right now. Can't get out of that with your own might power. You can't express it. Nothing. You got to turn to God. Whenever He offers you His hand, His works, His God's effort to pull you out, you got to agree with that thing wholeheartedly in hot pursuit. Strong affirmation. Yes, sir. Amen. Yes, just get this stuff out of me, Father. Cut this stuff out of my mind. So I can proceed, exist, habitually practice it, and exist back into the great, my exceeding great reward, the self-existing one. Okay? Who is omniscient, omnipresent, omnipotent, and sovereign? He's not the weak link. God didn't mess up. He's going to throw you in a hell and torment you worse than any serial killer forever and ever and ever. That's stupid. Infinity plus infinity plus infinity, and I'll top that. Let's just add another one. Plus one. Isn't that what kids do on the playground? My hero was greater than your hero. He's plus one. Oh, yeah? Well, mine's plus two. Stop that. That's going on in your mind. Be reasonable, my child. See it my way. That's what God's saying. Okay? Who's the great hero? As you're going into God and stuff, just with much gratitude, thankfulness, honor, you're swimming and basking in His thought processes, God's thought processes, God's right way of thinking, and you're acknowledging, oh, what my? So you make God true. Acknowledge that God's the truth. And all this humanistic thinking, all this mankind thinking that's in yourself. And your reaction to all this reacting quite quickly, all this serpent nature. Strike back, get even, all this stuff. Do what you want. React to your own reasoning, your own good and evil. Partake in that stuff. Touch that poop slick, it won't hurt you. It's not poop slick, it's a good, you can make nice hot dogs and stuff out of that, milkshakes and every stuff. Okay? Make it memorable so you can walk in it, so you can live in it, so you exist in it, stay in it. Because then you fall into God, you're going 1 to 2 to 4 to 6 to 8, or 1 to 2 to 4 to 8 to 16, 32, 64, 128, 256, 1012, you know, it's going on up, blah, blah, blah. Got a little tongue-tied there, but, you know, you get it. It's double, exponentially, blah, 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 blah. Pretty soon, oh my goodness, it's way beyond any legion. A legion's only 4,000 to 6,400. That blows right on by that. Which way do you want to fall? Slipsiding away, falling into that sewer system? I'm slipsiding away. I'm slipsiding away. The more I disagree with God, the more I'm slipsiding away. Right? Or do you want to fall into love with God in hot pursuit, being right-mindedness of God? And this is in each and every area of your thinking process. Woohoo! Coming back to you, Big Daddy. Don't matter if I'm in the lion's den. Don't matter if it's fire furnace, nothing. You're my protection. You're my sufficiency. You'll equip me to handle any of this. You'll be like Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego in that fiery furnace. Don't you shall surely die in this. God's in there with you. Be like I was. When I come out of that unconsciousness for 12 weeks. I couldn't do nothing. My head, brain swollen up in my mind, in my head, and I couldn't even hardly see anything right. It's 4 of everything. I couldn't hardly think right. In so much pain, couldn't even, you name it. I mean, it was terrible. Couldn't even twitch the quadriceps on my legs. I mean, I couldn't do nothing. Couldn't sit up in the bed, couldn't do nothing hardly. Doctor saying, you're not going to be able to do this, do that, no, writing me off still yet. No. Don't believe it, don't believe it, don't believe it. Believe back into the right-mindedness of God. I was having to take speech therapy 3 times a day in the hospital way back then. That wasn't the only time. I mean, of all this different therapies, occupational therapies, all these things. Oh my goodness. But all this stuff is working together for good. This is just a little bit of negative electron stuff, no matter how big it is. It's rocket fuel. Because you're a rocket man as you proceed into the mind of Christ. Okay? It's rocket fuel. It's a catalyst. Use that thing to grasp on back into God. And God is not the weak link. He won't fail. God is faithful. There is no stronger, more powerful. God is omniscient, omnipresent, omnipotent, and sovereign. Nothing's going to beat out God. If God be for you, who can be against you? Who cares? Okay? All right? Now, let's get on down through here so I don't run out of time, okay? We're in this agathos, okay? It's a adjective, is primary root word, okay? It's meaning being a good, pleasant, agreeable, joyful, happy, excellent, honorable. In the Strong's, it's this good in any sense. That's productive, and you're going back into the right-mindedness of God. You're existing back into the self-existing one. Okay, it says compare 2570. We'll get there in a little bit. In the Thayer's Greek lexicon, it's saying, excelling in any respect, distinguished, good, okay? It's being fertile soil for those seeds of Christ, that faith that turns back into the truthfulness of God. And then that hope is turning back into confidence in God as you're existing in this, into the right-mindedness of God. And it's bringing you right back into that union. Back in. There's two towards and into, and, right down in there, right into like the nucleus of God. Where He's holding you. He's welding you. Okay? It's fertile soil. You're growing up in the Spirit in each and every area of your thinking processes, bringing you right back into the right-mindedness of God, not your own righteousness, which is filthy, stinking rags. It's mistress rags. It's yuck. It's vomit. It's puke. Don't join in union with your own alpha dog, your own edging God out. Ego. You, me, myself, and I, that turns that seeing, hearing, taste, touch, and smell, all your 5 senses that you're subjected to and you're like married to. Ooh, you got to divorce that. Cut that off. Cut that out. Turn. Do a 180-degree about face from that sucker. Ooh, yuck. Hakapui. Right? However you can remember that. Okay? Be fertile soil, where the growth of God. Be good soil, fertile soil, to where that seed is growing. Because you're pressing in, you're in hot pursuit, you're agreeing with God. No matter what the circumstances in your life, in your thinking process, that thalipsis, those fire trials, all this stuff, the storms of life is pressing on you. Ooh, it's beating me down. Don't associate with that. Get off of me, you old bulldog. Lay down, buddy. All right? You look like a good pillow. Lay down there, man, and be quiet. Put a muzzle on that thing. Let me take a nap. Let me pound on your ribs a little bit. It's a little bit hard right there from my head. I'll lay back there. Oh, yeah. Oh. Rest in God. Wait upon God. That's where he's taking them little braided rope and winding them, twisting them into a stronger and stronger rope. Like load testing your bridge so it can handle a heavier and heavier load. He load tests it way above, like in the natural. They load test the bridge way above what they posted at, as that it can safely carry that. Like if a bridge is posted at, like a sign put up there and posted, the weight limit is 10 tons or 20,000 pounds. You know, that thing's probably tested to hold 40 or 50 tons before it's actually going to start cracking and breaking. So it's pretty safe there. So if someone goes across there, it gets a little bit over at 10 tons, no problem. It's going to handle it easy. With these pressures and the lips and stuff of your life, it's going to handle it. And your fleshly thinking's got to be cut out by God. Because he's going to test you. If you're called, if those areas in your thought process is called, it rains upon the just and the unjust. Not being punished. It's just not to you. It's just for you. It's an opportunity to agree back into God. Got to change the way you think about this stuff. Don't always understand it, but use in a test, like you're taking a test for school or for a job or qualifying for to be qualified to do something. Maybe have to score like 80% or better. Anything less than 80% is failing. Ooh, man. A lot of qualifications in job that I used to have, that's what it was. 79 is failing. 79.5 is failing. Do it again. Go around that mountain again. Okay? Okay, let's not get too far down that trail. Okay, I could go there. But that's a little tab, a little touch, okay? Maybe I'll cover some more of that later. Okay, now. Okay. This is a fertile soil. It's like in your mind, okay? Where the soil is fertile is a fertile place for one to grow or increase into the righteousness, the right-mindedness, the right thinking of God. See, you got your hand, you're gripping it with all your might in hot pursuit. You're loving, existing, living, loving in God now. Living, loving. Yeah, I'm going back into God. Okay? Use memory markers. So songs or pictures, whatever will make it stand out to you as you walk through that in your mind. Envision it. Like on a chessboard when you're calculating moves and stuff. You gotta, okay, if I do this, then I've got to be able to see the picture. And then this. So many moves, you got to be able to see that to accurately, precisely and correctly accurate. Do that. Or you might get surprised. Oh no, I gave up my queen and now I don't have no reward. For I lose the game. That's just a game. But in this is when you're going back into the mind of God. You're envisioning this. So any of these little study aids and all this, the spiritual toolbox stuff is tools to help you. Just like in a, say you're working on some kind of equipment or something in the natural. If all you got your hands, your own efforts to take this something apart that's got like bolts and stuff, they're tightened down. If they're loose, it's got like one of them wing nuts and it's loose enough, you can pull it. Yeah, I can get that off. I can do that. That's like dusting. That's not too bad. That's kind of easy. Hunky-dory. But you get into stuff that's a little bit more padded down, a little bit more concrete, a little harder ground, a little harder thinking. Maybe you've invested more time in it and it's wrong. It's poop thinking. Or it's got some impurities in that golden ore. God's got to boil them up. It's like a bolt that's been tightened down a little bit with different amounts of pressure. You take your own effort, your own works, your own hand, and try to. You can't get that sucker loose. But if you got this toolbox, I need number 8mm here and number 12 here. Get some leverage on it. Bang. Pops right loose. Get that bad boy off. Go on. Like your bridge can handle more because you got a stronger toolbox. Better toolbox. Okay? Now, let's get on down here so I don't run out of time on this. Okay? May have to make a few recordings on this one. Now, in Luke chapter 8, verse 8, and Luke chapter 8, verse 15, it's talking about that good ground, okay? I was going to try to read some of that, but in Matthew chapter 7, verse 18, those are references. You'll have to probably go to that yourself, because I'm not going to have enough time, okay? Okay? Maybe I can't make another recording on that, but we'll see. Okay? Now, this corresponds to a figurative expression, good ground, okay? Or denotes the soul, which is a mixed up thing of that dust, darkness, ignorant, poop thinking, and there's seeds inside of it, seeds of God inside of it. You got to cut some of that darkness out so you can exist and be in hot pursuit and come back to his right-mindedness. The covenant is taking place. Okay? God is delivering you. He's offering that. Okay? Giving you like a handout, that stuff, if you will accept it. You agree into him in hot pursuit. Okay? Let him rebirth you, pull you out of that birthing canal, like. Okay, back through the eye of the needle. Which is a narrowing place. See, many go through that broad way. Leads to destruction. Not many. And many thought processes in you. And come back through that narrowing, hard place. Because it's a lot of pressure. A lot of fiery trials. Okay? You come back into, coming from out of, to, towards, into, back in it, and back in union with, okay? The meter, the whole middle of it, this thinking process is coming right back into that, okay? Into God's right-mindedness, God's love beyond words is giving you the ability to do this, okay? Now, in this word, it's been inclined to goodness and accordingly eager or in hot pursuit to learn, okay, the saving or delivering, that deliverance, the truth of God, and ready to bear fruits, that mature fruit, not mature, not sour and bitter and immature. You're proceeding on into God. 1 to 2 to 4 to 8 to 16, you're falling into love with God, right? Increase into maturity to pluck fruits, okay? The righteousness of God, okay? The love beyond words, okay? Now, let's go down here to 2570. Right here. It says compare this word, okay? And it's this word.
Strong's G 2570. Kalos. Kalos.
Kalos. It's an adjective. And it means this hot pursuit and stuff is genuine and approved by God. It's granting you access. Because you're gripping his hand with all you got. There's no pretense in it, no holding back. Okay? No secretive trying to manipulate and all this stuff. No shining up the outside of the cup and inside you're leaving all kinds of dead man's bones. Well, nobody knows about this. Oh, yeah, God knows it. You can't fool God. The all-seeing, all-knowing. You know what I mean? The omnipotent, omniscient, omnipresent, sovereign God. You can't fool God. He knows you better than yourself. You know? Your old carnal mind, your own ego says, you're a good guy. Okay? Bullcrap, right? Okay. I'm going to have to do another one. It's getting ready to run out, okay? To be or live, exist, think in the righteousness of God as good, fertile ground on a journey back into the righteousness, the right-mindedness, or the self-existing one, to exist into that, okay? To exist in the state of agreeableness, eagerly agreeing, yes, sir, amen, yes, sir, Father God, try to chop this old stinking thinking out of me, this anthropos thinking, okay? As God, as good, fertile ground, returning back from ik, ice, en, and syn, to the righteousness of God, to the right-mindedness of God, to that love beyond words, which is love beyond words. It's going from a child of God, the love God had for us, back into the ability to rush on at whatever level, different growth, stages of growth within one's mind. Fertile ground, abundantly productive ground, abundantly productive thinking. Are we not made from the dust of the earth? If you stay that dust of the earth, that returns to the dust. That dust thinking goes back to the dirt from where it came, and the spirit returns to the Father who gave it. Okay, I got it pretty good. You can go look at the references here. They're pretty good. And